All right, we're in it. Welcome back. Verse 1 through 10, episode 141. Coming off a interesting weekend at Martinsville. Maybe not in the best ways, but interesting nevertheless. Had the Jason Johnson Classic with the World of Outlaws going on this past weekend, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Talk about the high limits going racing in Texas this weekend. Um, so yeah, decent amount to talk about. Know you were down in Martinsville and had quite the weekend down there, so you'll have plenty to talk about, just like last week once again. But how you doing tonight?
Good, good. Yeah, been a busy week. Was at Martinsville obviously over the weekend for the triple header, and then I've been working overtime all this week, so 12-hour shifts all week. So I'm absolutely drained right now. Um, ready to hit the hay for sure. So we'll try to keep this short and sweet, but cover everything. Not to get long winded on any one topic. I said pretty straightforward week. Nothing too crazy. I don't think really any debates to be had. Um, but yeah, we'll get into it. The weekend that was, we'll start off just chronological order like always. Friday truck night. Were you able to watch that?
I was not. No, I did not get to see Truck or Xfinity. It was a busy sports weekend, so I'll let you take the ball for those.
Yeah, I mean trucks. Didn't really miss much. No Cup drivers in the field. You had Sammy Smith behind the wheel of the 7 truck, but yeah, pretty straightforward race. I mean Christian Eckes, he was fastest in practice. Started second behind Ty Majeski, and he just pretty much dominated the race. Led 133 of 200 laps. Um, Majeski led 66. The other 66, I guess in looks like Nick Sanchez led 1 lap. So yeah, definitely not the best truck race, but I was happy. I had money on Eckes. Um, let's see. I don't even have what we had written down last week, but either way, I guess we didn't have truck odds last week when we recorded. Maybe that's why I
Yeah,
don't have them written down. Uh, but yeah, yeah, Christian Eckes pretty much put on a clinic. I was happy I had a little change on him once I saw practice speeds, and looked like he was gonna be the dominant truck, and sure enough he was. So that's definitely was a good start to the weekend for money wise.
hell yeah,
Um,
for sure. Um,
um, you didn't have any action on that, I assume, since you didn't watch.
nah, I did not.
Word.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Eckes is tearing it up. That's
Yeah,
the biggest takeaway from that. He's got to be the championship favorite in trucks right now for sure. He's uh he's having a hell of a season, raising his stock a lot, I would say.
yeah, without a doubt. And then McNally, truck. That's his second win of the year. One earlier at Bristol. So definitely looking good on the shorter tracks. Um, yeah, we'll see how that continues to play out throughout the rest of the year. But definitely a solid race for him. Um, this weekend at Martinsville. Does he have a
Yeah,
win there in a KBM truck?
he might. I'm not sure off the top of my head,
Okay.
but I mean, I was just gonna say he's a guy I always had high expectations for him when he started driving at KBM because he drove part time at KBM first and was great when he drove part time, and when he went full time never really lived up to it. But I mean, he's definitely in the last couple years since he went over to McAnally put it all together, and like it took him a little longer than I thought it would for him. But that guy's like I said, he's got to be raising his stock a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. I hear that. So he won at Las Vegas in 2021. That was his first win. So
Ah, okay. I didn't know if that was his only win with KBM or.
I think it was because yeah, last year he had 4 wins. They weren't with KBM though, and so yeah. All right. Any I understand. I don't really have much from trucks. It was kind of a quiet weekend. It got a little trucky there at the end of the race.
What the hell happened with Timmy Hill and freezing? Because I never even saw like what happened to them on track, but Timmy Hill was pissed. Like I don't know if you saw the video of them, or mainly Timmy Hill chewing his ass out on pit road after the race. I don't know if you
No, I
saw
didn't.
it there.
Maybe I did like hear about that, but I didn't see a video of it or anything. Um, again, I don't even know what transpired to that. That's news to me. Stuart Friesen just being mad again. It seems like um, Timmy Hill's one of the good guys. So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Again,
Um.
I can't even think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, it was pretty clean for the first half of that race, and then once everybody pitted, it got all the same. Once everybody was on like basically no more pit stops for the rest of the race, it got a little trucky. Typical Martinsville trucks. But I mean, it wasn't nothing too crazy. Nothing too bad. It was what? Let's see. 11 cautions for 81 laps. So damn, almost half the race. Yeah. It felt a little bad. No wonder I was pretty banged up Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to do that. But sorry, I was getting these links tweeted out. That's why I'm stuttering a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, Timmy Hill was like ran up to Friesen on pit road after the race and was like going off on Friesen's ass. And I mean, I guess Friesen knew he did something wrong because Friesen was just kind of taking it and wasn't like arguing back with him. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't even know what transpired to it. I said it did get a little trucky at the end, but who knows?
but like you said, that's Stuart Friesen. It's just like every week it's something with him.
I mean, he's having a really bad year. This is like probably one of the worst years he's had. It seems like, um, and yeah, it's just one thing after another goes wrong, and a guy's just gonna lose his cool. Uh, and maybe that was what the issue was on Friday night. He pushed a little too hard when he didn't really need to push the situation and wrecked somebody he shouldn't have wrecked. So you don't know what happened there, but all good.
Hell yeah. Um, Saturday was WrestleMania Saturday, Final Four Saturday. So yeah, I definitely kind of got Xfinity lost in the shuffle a little bit there. Um, but you'll I know you were there for it, so you'll have to hold it down again. Sure you ate a lot of hot dogs first off. Um, Friday and Saturday are the hot dog days, man, because I know the lines Sunday are always insane. So
I went
Friday and
with 3 each night. Was able to
okay.
acquire my own dogs Friday, Saturday, and then through a group of people that kept going. I think Buzz went and got some, and Scott went and got some, and so between those two guys, I had 3 on Sunday as well. So I had my fair share of hot dogs throughout the weekend for sure. But yeah, definitely Friday, Saturday are the days to get the hot dogs because the lines are way smaller, way less people. But yeah, kind of Saturday, kind of more of the same. I mean, Eric Almirola coming back down to the Xfinity Series this year. Joe Gibbs Racing, and this is kind of the race that we expected from him. Goes out and leads 148 laps, and kind of takes these kids behind the woodshed and dominates the day. I mean, I guess the next guy behind him is Sammy Smith in the 8, that led 42 laps. So yeah, just again a pretty dominant performance of Eric Almirola leading 148 of 250. Um, so yeah, not surprised by that at all. We knew he would be fast this year. I think it's just taking a little time to get adjusted to the car, since he's not full time. But I think he's definitely dialed in right now, and I wish I would have put a little change on that. I had obviously I had Austin Hill pick from last week as a long shot. He really was kind of out to lunch all day. And then I had Justin Allgaier day of bet. He looks fast in practice and comes up 5th. But
We
yeah,
thought we
Eric,
had we thought
what's
we
that?
had the books fucking figured out with that Austin
Well,
Hill pick we talking about
yeah, I
last week.
mean, I feel like the odds were super long on that for sure. I mean, who knows how well he would have done? I mean, he got his radiator busted in there when Brandon Jones missed his shift on lap 71. So,
Oh shit.
yeah, I mean, he was up in the top 5, so it wasn't like we definitely had a shot with him for a little while. But
Yeah.
we didn't even get a chance to see what he had because we piled up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5 cars were involved in that pileup that couldn't even finish the race. So it reminded me of that year that Dale Jr. came through that wreck there in turns 1 and 2. It wasn't as big as that, but it definitely felt like that, where they were all piled in there, and it was a lengthy red flag, probably at least half an hour red flag to clean that one up. So Yeah, Brandon Jones, I think, missed a shift. He skated out of there basically scotch free, and yeah, just hate it for those guys in the back. I said definitely my Austin Hill pick, but luckily we did go and throw some money on Carson Quapple, top 5. I think we threw that pick out last week as a sleeper, and yeah, that I ended up hitting. He ended up finishing 4th. Solid day for him. Wasn't a scratch on the car. I don't think. Was just real methodical about how he put his day together.
I remember we were on kind of opposite sides of how we thought Van Gisbergen was going to do. I guess I ended up winning that one. It sounds like he had a rough day
I
from
finished
from
11th.
tweet. I didn't even know he finished 11th. I thought
Yeah, no, I mean, I would
that,
say like the race really didn't get a lot of good rhythm to it. It seemed like, I mean, till the end, um, until we got a long green flag run towards the end. Um, but no, I mean, every run it seemed like he would be picking people off, and he was having a blast. He was loving it.
oh
Uh,
yeah, I just
Drew
saw some
Andrew
tweets
was
that
listening
like
to his radio, and he was just like, "Man, this is so much fun! Like just the beating and banging, like like okay, that guy just hit me, so now it's time to go hit him." And the spotter was like kind of encouraging it, like teaching him how to short track race the right way, like bumping and grinding, but also respectful about it.
yeah. Well,
So
that's good. I didn't see he ended up bouncing back, but I just saw some tweets early that like he was struggling and running in the 20s, and like I said, I wasn't watching. I was just going off what I was reading on Twitter.
yeah, he
But
qualified 19th, finished 11th. So I think that's a solid day for your first time at Martinsville.
yeah, like I
Completed
said,
all the laps. Was on the lead lap pretty much at all points. I think at all at the night. So yeah, I was impressed. As I said,
hell yeah,
I've seen road course guys thrive there at Martinsville. I
yeah.
think that's what I said last week. So
No, you're right. Like
we'll
that,
call
like
we'll call it 50-50. He didn't do great, but he definitely held his own.
but you're right about the road course guys there. I mean, I never thought about it that way, but yeah, like AJ's always run really good there. Like I just remember Jeff Gordon, the race he got his last win, he passed AJ Allmendinger for the lead.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's the first thing I think about when you say that. But yeah, you're definitely on to something with that.
but yeah, I think what we JRM cars showed a lot of speed. Joe Gibbs Racing showed a lot of speed. There's no surprise in that. Both of those camps are always fast here. Sheldon Creed, I think we talked about him really needing a good run this week. He had a good run. Was like top 5 all night. Ran 6th. Um, so that's definitely what him and that team needed. Um, yeah, that's about all I got. Same with Josh Williams. P10 for the Josh Williams and Colic. That's a day you can and build off of right there. So just a quiet top 10 day. That's what that team needed for sure.
Hell yeah.
And
Um,
also Taylor Gray. Shout out to him. We talked about him last week. His first Xfinity race he ran again this week in the 19. He did pretty well as well. Ran inside the top 15 all day. Um, Finished 13th, started 16th. So, yeah, just hung around right outside the top 10 all day, but that's impressive for your first time at Martinsville.
hell yeah. Well, I don't got anything. Like I said, I was able to watch it, so I don't really got anything else to add to it. But
No, you didn't really miss much. I mean, them boys, I said, they piloted up there into turn 1 early on. Took out Corey Heim, Austin Hill, AJ Allmendinger, uh, Parker Retzlaff. So just a lot of decent guys were taken out in that lap 70 pile up. But nonetheless, I think Eric Almirola was stunk up the show kind of like he did. Um, so, yeah, glad we had Carson Quapple top 5. Can't wait to see him back at a car, hopefully again later this year if we can get a deal put together.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I imagine we'll see him in there more. So we'll just have to wait and see. But
Yep.
all right, guess we gotta move on to this cup race. But I'll give the thesis of what I'm gonna bring up. You can talk about it more, but we just gotta accept that like Martinsville isn't Martinsville anymore. Like this is what Martinsville is now, and we got what we got. I It's like every race at Martinsville, everybody's just like, oh, we got to do this, this, and this, and this. And I don't know. Like, you can give, like, and I'm sure we will give, like, ideas for solutions and stuff. But, like, the reality is, like, I just don't see it changing. And it seems like 3 years in with this car, this is what we got at Martinsville at this point.
Well, it is. I mean, that's kind of what the conclusion I've come to with Richmond as well. I mean, kind of got what you got right now until there's a drastic change. I mean, they say they're going to try this and this and this, but I mean, shit, they drive all the way to Phoenix for 2 days, to try that when you got Martinsville and Richmond right in your backyard. Like, you need to be trying more things, and I think maybe this weekend is finally the the panic button has been hit by the industry. You know what I mean? I think this was a straw that broke the camel's back. Um, like I said, it's been like this for 3 years now. You can't pass, can't even get to the car ahead of you. You know what I mean? To knock them out of the way. So yeah, something has to be done. I mean, again, it wasn't a terrible race, but it wasn't good. It wasn't the Martinsville that we're used to. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a strategy race just like last week, but that's not what we want from damn Martinsville and Richmond. We want beating and banging, knocking guys up to the second groove, and bumping runs.
Well, you say that, and it's like, of all the things people are talking about, like, the issue I've noticed, and I think I've said it on here before about Martinsville, that, like, I feel like nobody's bringing up, is that, like, you can't move these cars. Like, and it's like,
Well,
I feel like,
that goes to the tire patch. It's got too much tire.
but even like usually, like, I mean, you can just tell, like, when somebody, like, hits somebody in the back bumper, like, their bumpers just don't move. Like, these cars are steel, they're slammed to the ground, and it's like, when you can't move these cars, it's like that takes away, like, what Martinsville really is.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think if you had less tire compact, tire like patch on the ground, when you would get your ass packed, you would move around. The rear end would move around more on you instead of just being stuck to the ground. But again, you can't even get to the car in front of you to knock them out of the way. So, I mean, until we can do that, what are you even talking about at that point? We got to find a way to get closer together on the short tracks with tires or horsepower or I mean, I don't know. It's not aero because we're going damn 40 miles an hour. You know what I mean? We're not going fast enough for it to be aero. So I don't know, but yeah, it wasn't great for sure. I mean, there was a point there, stage 2 or whatever, stage 3, where I'm just like, damn, yeah, this is pretty bad. It's really hard to pass. Leaders can't pass the lap traffic to and then that just stacks up everybody behind them. But the stack up behind them, they can't even get to the leaders to pass those guys. So everybody just ends up running the same distance behind each other. So that's why we have no cautions.
Yeah, sorry. But I mean, yeah, it's yeah, I mean, it's just what
So
it is.
like I said, I think the panic button was hit this weekend by NASCAR in the industry. You know what I mean? Obviously, the teams have known that it's terrible, but I think that NASCAR has to make a drastic change. Something drastic has to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
If we come back to Martinsville in the fall and it's the same thing, like unless they say something down the pipeline is like going to be drastic, because I do understand, I do get the like we don't want to fuck up the rules so bad, like the race before the championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of get that. But yeah, it's
But like everybody knows, and we said last week, it's the tires are a big issue too when these guys are going like 150 laps on a tire run in this race, and it's like, I thought the dumbest thing in the race was like Denny pitting at the end of the race. It's like, you've known
yeah.
all day
Well,
tires.
I think they were just trying to drag more guys with them.
Yeah, but
But
I mean, it's like, even if they did, like, the Hendrick guy stayed out, and it's like, you've known all this entire race that the tires don't mean shit.
yeah, but he again, I think the 11 team, they knew that they weren't going to win from fourth or wherever they were with old tires. You might as well try to win with new tires. Bring everybody in behind you, and hopefully you come out whatever fourth or wherever he was with the freshest tires, and you can make it work. But yeah, it wasn't it. I mean, it was only 2 laps.
Yeah.
It needed to be a little bit longer.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. And then that's another thing. Is like I have a hard time comprehending of like how we go from last week where it seemed like tire wear was so heavy. I mean, obviously Richmond is such a worn out racetrack, but we can get tire wear there. And it was still hard to pass. You know what I mean? And then this weekend we can barely wear tires. You can go 200 laps on left side tires and no problem, and we can't pass. So, and then we go to Bristol 4 weeks ago, and the tires basically just shred to pieces, and we don't know how that happened. So it's like, what is even going on right now? I don't even know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where we go from here, but I feel like the panic button feel like has definitely been hit by from the industry this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
All the podcasts are like, this has to be fixed. You know what I mean?
But I don't know how they're gonna fix it other than like trying new tires. Like
again, they gotta go to work.
Everybody keeps saying like the more horsepower thing, but it's just like I'm sick of hearing people say that because it's like it's not gonna happen.
I mean, I think fans would even be happy if the race sucked. Fans would even be happy that we tried that.
It's just not gonna happen. Like they've committed to this like 670 horse.
All they've tried is up down splitter and taking the whatever diffuser pieces away. Like it's not aero. We're going 45 miles an hour in the corner is at Martinsville.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, but
so again, I haven't seen NASCAR work hard enough at this for me to be satisfied that there's not a solution.
Yeah, I mean I'm not satisfied either, but it's like
that's what I'm saying is NASCAR needs to get their ass in gear and get to work.
I just know like the horsepower thing that everybody's talking about is like that feels like an unreal. Like it's not going to happen. Like they've kind of like dug their feet in that like this is what we have for the horsepower. They fought.
Well, I don't know necessarily that is because you go back to last weekend and Martin Truex Jr. ran the torque sensor at Richmond, which I don't know how much you've read about that and what that is supposed to do or what that could do, but essentially what that information will allow NASCAR to do is open up the engine package, right? So you could have manufacturers coming in, say Honda, right? Honda wants to come in and run a turbo V6 because that's what they run in their street cars, right? They want to show off that motor. They can do that, and all they have to do is match the torque spec in the rear axle to what it is across the board of what NASCAR is going to regulate. Essentially, that's what they've done in IMSA, the GTP class, where you have like the Cadillac, which runs a V8 hybrid, where you have the Porsche that runs a V6 hybrid. You know what I'm saying? You have all these different manufacturers, and they have like their distinct engines to them. So that is an interesting point to it. Where, like I said, if you have the torque sensor, it's like why can't we have like? I'm sure Honda's V6 turbo can make up to 1,000 horsepower. We've seen it in Formula One. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean.
So, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't say that's completely ruled out, but yeah, I mean, certainly in the near future, I think tires is the solution. We got to find a tire that wears out at Martinsville and Richmond. I mean, more at Richmond maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, like I just go back to when we first came out with this car, and it's like they were gonna do even less horsepower. And
God,
like,
how bad would the races have been?
Oh yeah, but like and that's all we heard is like that's what the OEMs wanted, and it seems like NASCAR kind of like fought to get more, and like we landed on this like in between 670 number, and that's kind of like since this car has come out, they haven't wavered off of that. They haven't really like talked about doing more than that. Like that's what we've had. So to me, it just doesn't seem like that's changing.
No, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see what they come up with, but they have to change something for sure.
Yeah.
Trying to see here. Let's see. Just trying to do a little comparison here. So almost identical, probably to the last race there. Yeah, 5 cautions compared to 7 cautions. So last fall's race compared to this spring race. This spring we had 5 cautions for 50 laps. In the fall we had 7 cautions for 61 laps. 12 lead changes in the fall. 13 lead changes here in the spring. So yeah, I mean pretty much identical races. I mean just go back and replay what we said in the fall, and that's what you got this week. So all I'm saying is if NASCAR does nothing by the time we go back to Martinsville, or at least have a somewhat of a plan, you know what I mean? Uh, of this is a different direction we're going in, then they're definitely screwing up big time.
Yeah. But I
But
mean,
hey, yeah, we did have a race. Shout out
and
to Willie B. I mean, we kind of figured it had to have been a Hendrick driver. The writing was on the wall. 40th anniversary race. All of them in the ruby red cars. And they all ran really, really well. So, yeah.
yeah, Hendrick definitely dominated the day. So
Yeah, it was like Larson dominated stage 1, Chase Elliott dominated stage 2, and then William Byron came on and dominated stage 3 and won the race. So,
yeah,
1, 2, 3 finish for Hendrick. Yeah, pretty awesome to see that, be there for that. They had 1,500 employees up there, current employees and former employees, all wearing red, and they had like a big hospitality area up on the backstretch. So that was pretty cool. They kept talking about that on the radio, and I'm sure they did on TV a lot. But yeah, I said knew going into the day would be a Hendrick day. I had Larson bet, so I was a little upset there. How that finished, I was hoping that caution that set up overtime would give us a shot. I mean, it did give us another chance at it, but it came up just one spot short. Um, yeah, who'd you have? Let's see. Did you have any change on the race?
yeah. I had I'm going to look now.
You had
I had
Bowman, I
Bub.
think, pick last week, or maybe you took Martin Truex.
Yeah, I had Bubba top 5. I hit that. That was plus 400, and then I had let's see, what was this? Let's see what it was. Okay, I had Priest in a group over Gregson, Kyle Busch, and Josh Berry at plus 400, and that one hit. And then I had Briscoe top 5 as well. That didn't end up hitting, but those were my bets for the race.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had Larson to win, Chase Elliott top 5, Alex Bowman top 5, and then Todd Gilliland top 10, which I gave out on the pod last week. And man, he ran so good all race in that overtime. As much as I wanted it to help Larson there and steal us the win, it killed Gilly. And he slipped back to 13th. So just missed out on that plus 700 cash. That would have been really nice.
Yeah, that would have been
But
a
yeah, I
good
mean,
one.
he was definitely in position all day. He had a really fast car, ran inside the top 10 just about all day long. So yeah. I said
Yeah,
not much from the race. I mean, I feel like we touched on a lot of short track shit. Denny Hamlin looked good. He was fast, other than the Hendrick cars. Bubba Wallace, really good day for him. I felt like, ran inside the top 3, top 5 all day.
yeah.
Um,
Like I said, I had the top 5 bet for him. Felt pretty good about that one. Now, granted, he was 6 before that last caution came out, so I was kind of pissed that it seemed like that didn't hit, and that last caution saved
Bubba,
that. Yeah,
yeah, he was fading there towards the end. He was a lot
yeah.
like Alex Bowman. Had a good
He
short
was
run
stuck
car.
there in 6th in that last run before the caution came out because I was definitely watching it, and I was hoping for the caution for that sake, and so Chase had a chance to win it. But
Yeah. Um. Yes, disappointing day for Martin Truex Jr. He started 4th, finished 18th. Um, just didn't really impress all day. I think they tried to go alternate strategy by running long there, and it just didn't work out for them. Um, yeah, that's about all I got. Christopher Bell, they had a wheel loose or something, and ended up cutting down the wheel. and they had to come down and lost like 3 laps or so. Anything else?
Um, not really.
I said
Nothing much.
it's quiet week.
I mean that strategy in the middle of the race that like Truex and a couple other of them tried, that was dumb. But
Well, again, I think you're trying to catch a caution, and jump track position at that point. Uh, so I mean, I get it, but yeah, I mean, you're just grasping for straws when we haven't seen a caution all day.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, but you got to try something, right? Just like Denny when he pitted there, you got to try something, make your own luck, make your own strategy. Um, but yeah, I will say I'm not surprised. I feel like we knew it was coming. I mean, it sounded like every damn restart of the weekend was under review. I saw a lot of drivers going late in the box, um, multiple stack ups. So, yeah, just interesting that obviously last week was all about restarts after coming out of Richmond, and this week the entire game was flipped of NASCAR keeping a watchful eye and drivers continuing to play games by going late. So
yeah.
yeah,
Like I knew last restart, like it didn't look like. I don't think Byron went in the box at all. I think he waited for the flag.
probably yeah. Like he didn't even want to. You didn't even want that storyline to be out all
Yeah,
week. That's literally. I mean, I guess I was listening to Denny's podcast, or maybe yeah, it might have been Denny's, and he said Dave Moody came up to him and gave him $5 before practice, and was like, "Here, I just want to pay you for compensation for making my job easy all week." And basically, the callers all wanted to talk about Denny.
yeah.
And he's like, "It's
Well,
not much, $1 a day, but
Denny was fucking last week. I mean, he's fucking like getting mad on Twitter about the restart stuff and be like, why y'all want to keep talking about it? And like he was like feeding into it. And then like he literally like starts this beef with Marcus Smith for no reason. And then is like, oh, why does everybody want to talk about me all the time? I don't get it. Like, it's like, dude, you're literally like putting yourself in it. Like,
yeah, I
which I
mean,
guess we'll talk about that Marcus Smith stuff.
yeah,
But
I
I just
mean,
like,
he had comments about it, and Marcus took it personal.
I mean, it was personal. He said he's ruining the company and he doesn't know how to
Well,
pave a race.
I mean, he just said he didn't say anything about Marcus Smith at first. He just said this is what happens when you use cheap paving, and North Wilkesboro will be next.
And he
Which
also said like
which he's not wrong. I mean, they
you're
had
gonna
problems
ruin your
at North
dad's
Wilkesboro.
legacy and everything he built. Like
I mean, the last 3 repaves they've done have had issues.
not Atlanta.
They had to repatch Atlanta before it was race ready.
Yeah, but I mean, like and they didn't even apparently there's like Marcus didn't even really give the explanation of what was happening there with Sonoma and what caused that. So I mean, and everybody was just immediately like, I don't think he ever really even explained that because it just
Well,
evolved into something completely different. But
and I think a piece that you don't know or are missing is that I think this is also Denny showing frustration about the charter deal not being done yet, because the tracks have a lot to do with that, from what I've learned this week. That from the revenue sharing of the TV deal, tracks get 65%, NASCAR teams get 25%, and NASCAR itself gets 10%. So,
either way,
well,
this whole thing is just like,
well, and I mean, I think I said from what Gluck and Bianchi were saying is this is what Denny was frustrated about, is that the track record has shown that SMI has not really upgraded their facilities, in recent years, whereas NASCAR tracks have. And I mean, you go and see all these paving issues that the tracks have had. So, and Denny's just like, look, this is what happens when you are stingy with your money. You use cheap labor, and this is what you're going to get. And so I think
but
that's why he's just showing frustration because the
he,
teams want more money.
he says like Marcus doesn't invest any money in the sport and like he invests more in this and that, but it's like He spent a lot of money to do Bristol Dirt. He spent a lot of money to do North Wilkesboro.
Well,
He
he
spent a
didn't bring
lot of
North
money.
Wilkesboro back. He had to get state funding for that.
He
COVID.
spent a lot of money to go to Coda. Like that's like they're paying for that. They're paying
I
for
don't know
the.
how much a lot of money it is, but
I mean,
yeah.
they're repaving tracks. Like they're taking chances.
Well, they're definitely taking risks. There's no doubt about that.
like
But
to say like he's not investing anything back in the sport. I think is just like couldn't be further from the truth.
I don't
Just
think
because
they're
it's
saying
not
he's
what the
not reinvesting anything back to the sport. Again, I think this is just goes back to the frustration of the deal is not done with the charters, and this is the tracks are saying, "Why are you taking my 65%?" When the teams are the ones that people aren't going to the racetrack to hang out and see the racetrack. People are going to see the race teams and the stars and the cars. So I mean, I said I get the frustration of why the tracks are saying no, we're not coming up off our money, and the teams are like, what the fuck, dude? This is we got to share this. So
yeah.
again, I think that's where all this frustration came from, and yeah, I mean, again, we saw that North Wilkesboro had problems at the test, um, and then Sonoma with these problems. Again, it's just not a good look. I mean, when you have back to back and obviously not a good track record of reconfiguration slash repaves. Um, so yeah, again, I think it just goes for it all. It comes from frustrations, and I mean, we saw what Friday morning. It was all like resolved. Rah rah, we're buddy buddy. You know, basically water on the bridge, and who knows? Shit, this might have been staged.
I doubt it was that because I mean Marcus went back and deleted his tweets after the fact.
But
But
who
it's just
knows?
like I don't know, man. It's just Denny's always got to be the fucking center of attention. It's like if he's not in the news for one reason, then he's picking a fight with a fucking
He's
promoter.
also one that's willing to talk.
I
If
mean,
Chase Elliott was this guy, would it be an issue?
I'd say the same fucking thing, dude. It's like he's
I
just
mean, I'm
picking
just saying. It's just
like
these are issues that as fans I think are interesting, and Denny shedding light on them makes it interesting. Because uh, if Denny doesn't shine a light on it, it's like fans wouldn't know what's going on
I
behind
think
the scenes.
NASCAR fans are the only fans who have been like conditioned to believe that like it
Like
matters
we
to
said, we
them.
saw how frustrated Jeff Gordon was on the Dale Jr. download a month ago.
Yeah. But I'm
So
saying like I think NASCAR fans are the only fans who have been like conditioned to believe that like it matters to them like how much money the teams are getting. Like who fucking cares? Like does anybody care like when baseball was having the lockout like what the CBA was going to be? It's like no, everybody's like just shut up and let's play baseball and let's get this shit done. Like nobody does this in like any other sport where they're like worried about like the financials. Like everybody's
But
just like
again, the financials are different in baseball. You don't need sponsorships to run a baseball team.
I mean, when baseball is a sport that doesn't have a salary cap, and it's like how much your owners spend on your team is directly correlated to how competitive your team is. Whereas, like, we see the Nationals now who aren't spending any money and they stink. Like, yeah, it is pretty relevant, but people still, like, aren't in the
But
business of, like, wanting to see a breakdown of the CBA and how much money the teams are getting.
yes, again, I think because it's not sponsor driven. I mean, you could say the same for NASCAR teams. Is the teams want more money so they can be a better team? They can compete with the Hendricks.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it's just like people are so hung up on, like, all this like financial stuff, and I'm like,
well, because it's a big deal right now. I mean,
but
I
I'm
said
just like, I
until
don't.
the charter wasn't a big deal, but now it is a big deal.
It's just like it's millionaires versus billionaires. I'm just like, I don't care. I just want to
But
race.
this is
Like,
the first time it's happened. Is the thing in NASCAR.
yeah. I mean, yeah. In my opinion, it's just like it's millionaires versus billionaires. Like they need to fucking be adults and figure it out. And
Yeah, the
like,
millionaires saying, "Hey, billionaires, we want a couple more dollars in our pockets to put this show on for you."
yeah. But I mean, I'm sure there's more
And I
to
don't
it.
think there's anything wrong with that.
I'm sure there's more to it than just the race team side, though. It's like I'd love to hear like more, and there has been, like, Marcus has done, like, the like, he did Dale Jr.'s, like, business and NASCAR podcast last year and talked about it a little bit. But it's like there's two sides to everything. So it's like,
100%.
but we just hear, like, the race team side, like, we need more money. But, like, I feel like people don't take the time to, like, listen to the racetracks and them to say, like, you know, why they feel the way they do. Because I mean, it's like, if like invested in one side, you should at least take the time to listen to the other as well. But, like,
Again,
it's
the other one's so secret about it.
yeah. But
They
like I
won't
said, like Marcus,
they won't tell you how much money it is. The teams have
yeah,
opened their books to NASCAR. The tracks haven't.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think back because I did listen to that Marcus Smith podcast last year, business and NASCAR one, and he got into it a little bit. Like, I can't remember, like, everything he said or pretty much anything he said because it's been months since I listened to it. But I remember he did get into this a little bit and provide their perspective of it. So, I mean, if you're interested in hearing that side, I'd go back and listen to that podcast.
I'm pretty sure I have.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying to anybody who might be listening to this, but
But yeah, again, it's just interesting points. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it all works out. Hopefully North Wilkesboro doesn't come up. That'd be awful. Awful look for
yeah,
Marcus Smith.
yeah, that would be pretty hilarious though. But
So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we get a charter deal done.
yeah, but I mean, also one last thing about this, it's like, why are people still trying to group what SMI did with Atlanta like it was like a bad thing when that's like been like a
Well, again,
resounding
I think
success?
just because it had to get repatched before we raced on it, I don't think it's the fact that, like, the reconfiguration necessarily.
But
I
people
think
are
it's
still
just
saying though, like, oh, they didn't ask the drivers what they wanted and that kind of
who's
shit.
saying that.
It seems like that's like the consensus of, like, when people are talking about why Denny's mad, they're like, SMI is doing all this stuff and they're not getting the drivers' input, which is like directly talking about Atlanta because that was the frustration.
No, I mean, again, I think Denny's frustrations and Denny's upset is because you can see the investment that NASCAR has made to their tracks. You can't see the investment that SMI has made to their tracks. The repaves that NASCAR has done. I mean, they talk about that when the NASCAR got Talladega repaved, they had standing ovation for the pavers. I mean,
Uh,
legit, dead
yeah,
ass, because it was done right. Apparently, I mean, again, I trust the teardown as a source of information, and they've done their research apparently. And NASCAR, apparently, when they do a repave, they tear it all out and regrade the dirt and then repave. Whereas SMI tears off the top coat and then repaves.
yeah.
So again, there's a different process there. Again, and I think that's just Denny was saying, look, y'all are doing it the cheapest way possible, and y'all are again being greedy with your money on this charter deal. Like, quit being so secret about your numbers, and let's get a deal done.
Well, they're about to do Texas now, so we'll see how that ends up and what they end up deciding to do with that. We know that's why they moved this race earlier in the season, so they had time to do like a reconfigure and repave at Texas. So Texas will be up next, and we'll see. But like Denny was saying today, he puts more money into the sport than Marcus Smith does. It's like I would love to see the financial breakdown of that because I don't think that's probably the case at all.
Where'd you see
But
that at?
Denny said that himself.
Where?
I don't know where he said it, but I saw the quote floating out there. So it was probably, I don't know if it was from his podcast or another interview he did or what, but yeah, he was saying he puts more money into the sport than Marcus Smith does. I'll find it and send it to you, but yeah, that he did say that. Like,
Okay.
I don't, which yeah, I doubt that's the case, but yeah, I would.
We'll never know. Marcus doesn't show us financials.
I mean, very true, but I mean, Denny doesn't show his financials to us either, so
He showed him to NASCAR.
yeah, but yeah,
Marcus Smith won't even do that.
I don't know, man. I just think it's petty. I think Denny's always just he's got the fucking pick me complex. He's just always got to fucking be the center of attention. Like,
Sure.
like,
If
I
he
mean,
could,
it's fucking midnight on a Wednesday night, and he's like, I'm just gonna fucking start a fight with a track
I don't
promoter.
think. I mean, I think it's his Denny on Twitter saying, "Yep, this is what happens when you are using cheap shit." And Marcus again takes that personally, which I don't have any problem with. I mean, as you should if you're the restaurant owner and you're. I guess it's not really his employee, but you're shitting on where you eat. Essentially, it's not a good look. And so I get why Marcus is like, "Well, fuck you then," But yeah, again, it got personal for sure. I mean, I don't know. Denny might have been drunk. Marcus might have been drunk. It was definitely made for interesting content come Friday morning.
Oh, for sure. But all right. Uh, I guess you want to recap Outlaws a little bit.
I didn't even get to watch it. Service was shit. So give us
I
the breakdown.
but David Gravel won on Friday. Sheldon Hodenshield won on Saturday. I guess I didn't get to watch either, but I'm pretty sure the Friday race, like Sheldon was leading, had a problem with 2 to go or something, and Gravel took the lead. Thought I read something like that. Sorry, I should have actually looked what happened, but yeah, Sheldon Hodenshield poised for a third straight US 36 victory. He'd taken the lead early and sliced through traffic, but an incident with a lap car left him spun between turns 1 and 2, which I believe that was like with 2 to go. So Gravel had one fall in his lap, and then Sheldon came back Saturday and got it done.
Nice. Yeah, I flipped. I know Saturday we got back to the truck and it was like I flipped it over to the Outlaws on the iPad and Sheldon was doing like a victory lane interview and I was like, well, no, can't watch this. So yeah, hated it. We couldn't catch that. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to watch some this weekend. We're racing the mini cups. We got our first race this weekend at Dominion, so will be a busy weekend. But at least we're home and should be able to watch a lot of racing. A lot of racing on this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the high limits, they had to cancel their Friday show, but they'll be racing Saturday and Sunday, and then the Outlaws are at Peevely this weekend. So that's always a great track, great show. So that'll be fun to watch, fun to keep up with.
Yep, Friday, Saturday show as well, and triple header from NASCAR. Got Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. Trucks Xfinity Cup. Anything else?
Did you see that late
Cars
model
Tour.
last night?
The what?
Did you see that battle from that late model race last night? That was
Dirt.
circulating where the car, I think it was Ashton Winger. It's from Georgia. Like he is battling for the lead in this super late model dirt race, and it was a fucking crazy battle. Like he went like over like the hill, like it was a track with no walls, like multiple times, and came back on, still battling for it. And then finally, like he went over a last time and went like flipping like crazy. But
Nice.
it was a wild video. It was going around.
Did not
Um,
see that.
Late model racing is badass. That's all. You got to add there.
But yeah, Cars Tour back in action. Um, yeah, so busy weekend.
Hell yeah. Well, Texas should be better than Martinsville at least.
I don't know. Don't get your hopes up.
Texas last fall wasn't really that bad. I mean, it wasn't great or anything, but you know, I don't think Texas that fall was that bad of a race. So I'm kind of optimistic we'll see something decent this weekend at least.
Hopefully, yeah. All right, let's get some picks so we can get out of here.
All right.
Lead us off. Trucks.
Trucks.
No odds out yet.
Fuck it.
At least
He's
not on that site. I'll check another
Kyle
site.
running.
Yes, he is.
All right, give me Kyle.
All right. All right, Kyle Busch it is. Give me 1 second here. Because that's my pick. I feel like I'm going to put some change on him. Hopefully, it's not too bad of odds. Oh, speaking of trucks, damn, Lane Riggs, man, that dude had a terrible night at Martinsville. He had a rough time.
He's been having a rough time all year.
For sure. Had a couple good runs here and there, but definitely not the best of years. Give me Corey Heim. It's Heim time.
Hell yeah. And then who you got Saturday? Xfinity.
Xfinity. Give me a second here. Give me. Fuck, I don't even know who's good here. Ryan Truex plus 800.
Ooh, there you go. That'd be a big one. It's hard to pick against the Gibbs guys in general. They're just unfucking fire right now. So
Yeah.
they're the class of the field at the moment for sure. Who's in the 20? Is it Almirola or John Hunter?
I don't think either. I think it's Ryan Truex.
So who's in the 19?
Taylor Gray.
Okay, so Taylor Gray in the 19 and Truex in the 20.
Or vice versa, yeah, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, it's hard to pick against the Gibbs guys right now. They've been on fire, so I'll go ahead and go with Chandler Smith.
All right.
Get another win.
Shit. Who's Heim driving for? Is that
Probably fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Double check it on that. I said, wouldn't that be something if he goes back to back sweeps the weekend? I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be wild, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Shit. Yep, Sam Hunt. All right, on the Cup. Sunday.
Well, I think I'm gonna go with this guy. He should have had one here last year. Needs a big one. I think he's knocking on the door. I think this is a weekend that's gonna set up great for him. Give me Bubba Wallace.
Okay.
What's the odds on that? If you go
plus 1,600.
all right.
Fuck. I'm gonna do the same thing. Needs the knocking on the door. Breakthrough win. I don't know if Texas is really known for first time winners. I know Dale Jr. got his first win there. Give me Ty Gibbs, 1,600.
All right. Top tens. I don't have anything pulled up, so I'll need to rely on you. I'm just kind of going off the cuff here. I don't know if you got one first while I think about it, or
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the numbers here. The line is kind of set at Noah Gragson plus 210, and then down from there. Jimmy Johnson is racing this week.
oh yeah.
Damn. Give me Eric Jones plus 220.
All right. Man, I'm blanking out on this one. I'm not gonna lie. How about? Goddamn, I'm having a hard time. Fucking Ricky Stenhouse.
Plus 1,000.
There we go.
Way long.
Yeah. He needs a good run. He ain't had a great year. Maybe they can find some speed this weekend. I was really blanking out on finding one there without things pulled up. So
yeah. All right.
Oh, got anything else or?
No. We will do better with our dirt stuff next weekend. We'll have a lot of local stuff and dirt stuff to talk about next weekend, hopefully. But yeah. We'll be back.
It's been real. We'll be back next week, talk post Texas, and get ready for Dega, baby.
Yep.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Have a good one.
Later.